demon's path continues. After his early clashes with Ryu, Akuma descended deeper into darkness. What followed was a long journey of brutal battles, forbidden awakenings, and encounters that would define his legend. When a grand tournament gathered the world's strongest fighters, Gil, the golden-haired leader of the clandestine Illuminati organization, emerged from the shadows with a godlike ambition to rule humanity. Gil relied heavily on his flawless hybrid elemental synthesis, wielding roaring hellfire from his right side and absolute zero ice from his left. With a genetically perfected body and the divine power of resurrection to cheat death at any moment, he truly believed he was invincible, an immortal far beyond the reach of mortal hands. But from the shadows of the tournament rose an unstoppable force of nature that recognized neither rule nor God: Akuma. When they clashed, Gil unleashed waves of fire and ice with arrogant confidence. In his eyes, this was meant to be his moment of absolute dominance, a divine exhibition for the world to witness. But reality shattered his designs. The sheer violence of their battle shook the arena to its very foundations. Every elemental surge Gil threw was instantly disintegrated, clashing brutally against the pure, destructive malice of Akuma's Satsui no Hado. This relentless clash severed Akuma's final tethers to humanity, fully unleashing the monstrous urge within. He transcended into Shin Akuma, his hair turning a fierce crimson as he radiated an overwhelming aura of pure killing intent. In that exact moment, Gil realized his hubris. Shin Akuma crushed his godlike powers with sheer, unadulterated brutality. With the legendary Shun Goku Satsu, Akuma plunged Gil's soul into pitch-black oblivion. He who deemed himself the sole ruler of the world tasted a deeply human emotion for the very first time: true, paralyzing fear. Believing the deed was done, Shin Akuma turned his back and walked away into the deepening shadows. Through his divine genetics, Gil managed to mend his broken form and resurrect himself from the brink of death, but nothing would ever be the same. Akuma had left behind not just a shaken god, but an unstoppable monster poised to tear the fabric of the universe apart. After crushing the divine hubris of Gil, Akuma continued his relentless hunt for absolute power, until destiny brought him face to face with the oldest and deadliest assassin of the underworld, General. Gen was harboring a terminal illness that was slowly consuming his body from within, and rather than wasting away in a deathbed, he desired to draw his final breath in battle, at the hands of the only demon he respected, Akuma. When they met, the shadow of death hung heavy in the old master's eyes, yet his stance remained as unyielding as a mountain. The two legends clashed without mercy. Gen's ancient, lethal assassination styles engaged in a deadly dance against the devastating malice of Akuma's Satsui no Hado. but in the heart of the storm, just as Akuma was poised to deliver the fatal blow, he suddenly stopped. He felt the profound weakness rippling through his opponent's body, the inevitable decay brought on by the disease. The Satsui no Hado demanded ultimate slaughter, but it refused to feast on the blood of the weak or those already walking into the grave. With an anger fueled by disgust and disappointment, Akuma withdrew his strike, suppressed his murderous aura, and turned his back. For the old master, who sought an honorable death on the battlefield, this mercy was an insult far more agonizing than death itself. Akuma vanished into the deepening shadows, leaving behind a legendary assassin shouting in bitter resentment, because the demon did not feed on the dying. He only hungered for the purest forces in the universe. As the world plunged into chaos once again, a new tournament began. Behind the scenes, a powerful organization called SIN sought to control everything using forbidden technologies and data stolen from M. Bison. Their leader, Seth, an artificial being, was in pursuit of absolute power. But in the shadows, Akuma moved like a storm. He joined the tournament not for glory, but to test the absolute limits of the Satsui no Hado. His battles were brutal. Those who faced him felt true terror, for his fists carried the crushing weight of pure death. Seen through the eyes of his master, Gouki, who had miraculously survived their past deadly encounter and returned, it was painful to witness his brother in this state. At the critical moment when Ryu stood on the precipice of that same dark energy, the two ancient brothers clashed once more. Gouki tried to reach the final embers of humanity left within Akuma, warning him that the Satsui no Hado would completely consume him. Akuma, however, had long since evolved beyond humanity. Brother against brother, light locked into a relentless battle against absolute darkness. This duel did not end in a definitive death. After pushing their limits to the absolute brink, the two ancient masters parted ways. When the tournament reached its climax, the SIN headquarters devolved into absolute chaos. Seth thought himself a god with all the technology at his disposal, but he tasted true destruction at the hands of M. Bison and Juri Han. Meanwhile, deep within the facility, Akuma used his sheer, unadulterated power to tear through any SIN obstacles and Seth clones that dared cross his path. As he walked away from the battlefield, Akuma felt the darkness within, pushing him toward a completely different abyss. Even this absolute power no longer satisfied him. The dark path leading to Oni, a form of a pure demon where he would completely lose his humanity and give birth to ultimate destruction, was now wide open. This relentless wrath, which would transcend dimensions and universes, was about to open the gates to a brand new chaos. Because darkness has no single ruler, and Akuma's hunger for absolute power would drag him far away from his own world, straight into the very heart of another cursed lineage.